What's poppin', y'all? It looks like the herd is really getting thinned at No Jumper because they just had another guy get fired. And this was Almighty Suspect. And the background story and lore of this is quite crazy. So this starts off. Wait, I'm going to play you guys this first clip. This is how this first starts.
Really going to happen because there's no one on earth who think you could beat me up in a fight.
But we're not going to get to exchanging violent words.
We don't need to do that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just saying if it's really that serious, Josh, if it's really, listen, as a man, if it's that serious to where we got to keep bringing it up, bro, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, bro. I fight every day. In MMA, I do Muay Thai too. I fight every day. I'm going to go fight after this is done when I go to my gym. That's nothing for me to bust down a little light skin. Can we set it up?
You think I'm going to set it up? Hands on me. You got another.
Well, you don't got to set it up.
You got another.
Listen.
So let's go
now
outside.
It's if you think I'm gonna let you put your hands on me.
Come on.
See how it changed that quick, Josh?
Let's do it, Mr.
If you think I'm gonna let you put your hands on me,
I'm gonna show you what we do to niggas who train. Come on.
Just keep bringing it up. Right.
I'll show you what we do to niggas who train.
So there's this back and forth that's happening between these two guys. There was almost a fight that happened. And the reason why this quote-unquote fight was even initiated was because this individual, Brandon, who was from this other podcast from Long Beach called the Viral Way Podcast, got invited to No Jumper by Poetic Flacco. So Flacco was supposed to be there for this like interview discussion, and Flacco was not there. So this guy ends up showing up, this guy Brandon, and he before the cameras turn on, he believes that he heard, or he claims that he heard Almighty Suspect say the ER, right? And he's like, yo, did you just say that? And then Almighty Suspect like heats up, and it turns into this argument. He's like, yo, I didn't say that. Why would I say that? And then it turns into this back and forth, and this whole fiasco happens. So it happens, they separate. The guy Brandon, he has his own takes, and he says that the reason why he didn't get to fighting, and even though Almighty Suspect called him a B, a lot of insults were hurled around in that first clip, was because he was trying to be professional. And it also came out that this guy Brandon has a strong background in combat sports, fight sports. He's very, very high level in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He also does Muay Thai. He's kind of like an MMA fighter to a degree. And this was used by the No Jumper community to really call out Almighty Suspect. So the background on Almighty Suspect, the 99% of people know him for beating up that dude on No Jumper. That guy Kelpie, that was some wannabe. I think Sharp had a back and forth with that guy. This was the era when Sharp was dominating on No Jumper. Crazy views, crazy numbers. It was when that genre of content was really going up. And Almighty Suspect just stole off on that guy after he got insulted by him. No back and forth really. He just spit on him. It's kind of like his warning shot, I guess, which you guys know how I feel about spitting. And then he goes in and starts wailing on him. He doesn't get fired after this. He gets suspended. Adam 22 looks horrified, and they were lucky that this guy agreed not to sue. Absolute moron. So he's also what I know him for, though, but what many people don't know him for is he was a rapper, and he was around Blueface a lot in the early days. Some people said he wrote some stuff for Blueface or helped him at least with some flows, and you can hear the similarities in their music, but his rap career is not anywhere. Almighty Suspect, that is. So a lot of people know him for being combative. He had also been combative with this girl named Jalise that was on the podcast. He's just combative with everybody. And I think he got into a fight. They fought with another co-host, Lush One. So this guy is a hothead, you could say, at the very least. This guy Brandon, he's mostly known for doing debates. He's very pro-black. He has his own opinions. He is, I would say that this is a above average intellect individual for the people that No Jumper usually has on. This guy, you put him in there, he seems like a genius. Now, that's not to say he's dumb in other contexts, but the guy's not dumb. That's what I'm saying. Almighty Suspect, I don't really know, but he returns. And the reason, I don't even know how this was able to happen, but he returns, and Almighty Suspect wasn't notified of his return until the morning when it was already publicized by the No Jumper pages. So they post that these guys are going to be on a show tonight arguing about Remy Ma and Papoose. Who really thought that was going to be about Remy Ma and Papoose? So this puts Almighty Suspect in a tough position because he clearly, if he doesn't show up, they're going to call him a punk, the audience that is, and who knows what this guy is going to say. And if he does show up, well, we see what happens when he shows up. So they attempt to make, and this is also, I think Flacco brought back Brandon again. So it starts escalating again into an argument. I'll play you guys that clip.
Lush is not even that.
That's what he's saying.
Lush the water boy.
Passing the ball is unimportant. Like,
no,
what?
Lush is the water boy. He's the most important person.
All right, cool. With that being said. All right, so when it comes to no jumper, what's your position, Brandon? You giving assist, right?
I'm not giving nobody assist.
What you doing?
I come in, I give my opinion.
Huh?
No, you are the assist man. You don't do shit but pass the ball, nigga.
Okay. That's Lush, actually.
That's what he's saying. You are the assist man. You come here,
I'm undefeated at debates. Anybody want to debate, you can sit down.
If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't. Niggas wouldn't even give a fuck about what you got going on up here. Let's keep it frank.
You want me to tell you? You want to tell you? If I'm gonna be honest, if I'm gonna be honest, if it took for you to not act like a hyper emotional beta male man child, if that was
big white man.
If that was you, I would prefer that than what you do.
But you love using a big ass.
I guess.
Well, it continues escalating even further until here.
I want to say,
and you
I
watch
call this
Wee
thing Antoine Dotson and everything else. I'm still gonna come to no jumper. I'm gonna walk in and out this. If I want to do something, there's nothing but space and opportunity. I ain't worried about a light skin. No nigga. Period. So if that gay, he's always bringing up fighting. You can't get a nigga bringing up fighting. Try to put it on another nigga to do something.
So,
but I just caught you one. I just caught you one. Jeff, you are
guys. Oh, guys, come on. Guys, come on. Stop, guys. Oh, chill, guys. Come on. What? Let's do something.
You knew he had a weapon.
Let's do something. No weapon.
No, he's got one.
Let's do something. I don't
What's going on? What you gonna do?
Nothing. Let's do something. Let's do something. All right. It's going so well. Nigga, spit on you. Ain't do nothing. Nigga, shut up. You a bitch. You a bitch. Shut up. Shut up. You got spit on.
No, I didn't.
You got, yeah, you did.
Don't
Yeah, I watched it.
Don't spit touch me. Don't spit touch me.
I watched it.
Hey, bro, y'all are tripping, bro. What's going on?
What you want to do about it? What you want to do about it? Meet me outside, nigga. What you want to do about it? What you want to do about it? What you want to do about it? Nigga, what you want to do about it? That.
So here, he stands up, he hawks a loogie and launches it towards this individual, Brandon, and then, as you can hear, he pulls out a knife. Like, he steps back and he pulls out a knife, and this is just absolute chaos. Security comes in, they push him off to the side, and I saw this, I was like, what the hell is this? This is premium entertainment. This is premium entertainment, and that guy Brandon was clearly ready to get down at that moment, especially after, well, he said he wasn't spit on during that moment, but there was a particle that had fell on his pants. The rest, like, went over his head. I don't know if it actually hit him, I don't know if he would have been able to calm down. He might have started attacking security just to get to that guy, but he pulls out a knife. So this guy's goading a fight, and then he pulls out a knife. That's like, yo, what the hell is going on? Keep in mind, this is just after we got the No Jumper Rico. Multiple people, we got Brick Baby that's arrested. No Jumper interview, loose cannon. No Jumper interviews are being used to lock people up. We don't know if they're being presented. They're being presented as like evidence in indictments. The feds came knocking at Adam 22's door. This is an absolute disaster, but it's happening nevertheless. So Adam 22, how he responds to this is a swift response the next day. And I'm going to play you guys that clip right now.
I have an announcement. Many of you are probably expecting this. As of today, Almighty Suspect will no longer be a host on No Jumper. For anyone who's living in a hole in the ground, there was a confrontation last night between Brandon, a.k.a. Bucci Bear, a.k.a. Dark Brandon, and Almighty Suspect that resulted in both spit flying and a knife being pulled out. Both of these are infractions that I fear we just cannot tolerate as a business. You know, many times over the past couple of years, I've looked back at the Kelpie incident, and I have felt like I was a little too lenient. Like I feel like that incident, even though we managed to skate essentially because we got Kelpie to sign off on suing us, I think it was extremely lenient of us to not fire Sus at that time. And I'm not going to lie, there's been a couple of times since then, in particular with the whole Jalise thing, where it really, really felt like he was on the border of attacking her. That got a little scary for me and made me feel like, Jesus Christ, maybe this is not okay. But yeah, I just feel like we just can't tolerate that kind of stuff in here. It's just way over the line.
I believe that this was the right decision, and I think Adam 22 did this reluctantly because he didn't fire him the first time, and he's like, yeah, I felt like I was too lenient on him the first time, and he should have been fired, which is true, but you let I think Adam 22 is just facing too much. Clearly, there was the No Jumper is going broke video, which was really just No Jumper. They're trying to sell the warehouse that they're in. They're trying to downsize. The expenses just don't really make sense in comparison to what was being made in 2020 to 2022. He's trying to get channel memberships up. He's trying to do a lot of things. He's got a lot of employees, a lot of bloat in the company. So he's already had that. And then he's got people getting into legal trouble, right? Brick Baby, one of his hosts, his biggest host really, got locked up facing a Fed case. We haven't heard from him in quite a while, which is probably all the better for his case. And on top of that, he got sued by a former employee. So he's saying he has to battle that in court. Who knows if he has to pay something out or not. So they dodged a lawsuit with the Kelpie individual. I think they had to do some other stuff with like that Dejan Paul. That guy was claiming that he got shot at No Jumper, which nothing really ever came of that. But that's a close call type of situation. And then now, this situation. Like, there's just too many things for No Jumper to be able to survive another lawsuit or, hell, anything related to how much value that Almighty Suspect was probably providing them. Adam 22 probably sat down and said, in a dollar amount, what is Almighty Suspect netting me in profit per month? And he probably thought to himself, this is the easiest decision of my life. Because really, they built this guy up, and this is why I think the best situation that No Jumper could be a pipeline to Aiden Ross boxing events. That's what I think it's got to be now. Because nobody wanted to hear No Jumper, or not No Jumper, Almighty Suspect and the guy Brandon talk about. They knew that this wasn't going to be a conversation about Remy Ma, man. There's a storyline that's built up here, and the Reddit contributes to it, but a lot of it is, what dysfunction are we going to get today? And the dysfunction in this case was this brawl. Like, the past several years with No Jumper, there's been a lot of just, like, for example, that 4 Extra guy just got out yesterday. I'm gonna play you guys this clip right now.
Up that they want you on, but I think it might be too soon. Are you going to be able to go to Florida? Aiden Ross wanted him on his most recent card, and I guess they're doing another one. They want him on it. They kind of want you to fight Aaron the Plumber, which would be an epic.
Wait, who?
You don't know him?
Oh, man.
Who is he? Aaron the Plumber is a dude from Stockton. He says that he doesn't gangbang, so I guess he doesn't have a formal set. He kind of is from the pimping world. At one point, he got 30 years. He ended up doing 5 years. He is, I'm not saying he's as big and tough as you, but he is a big, tough dude.
He got squabs.
He'd be on a lot of reality shows fighting people, and he's hella viral right now, and the people love him.
How much they giving me? I for sure want the bread.
Question. He doesn't look that intimidating here, but
man, I don't give a fuck how he look. Where the bread at?
4 Extra guy, he just got out, and what happens? He's talking about fighting Aaron the Plumber, and they were trying to set that up on the Aiden Ross boxing event. But you also had another character like Crip Mac. He's locked up, but his whole thing was not just dysfunction, but it's like, who's he getting down with? Who's he yelling at? A lot of things that are just 1 degree, not even 1 degree of separation. They're basically adjacent to actual violence and things that could destroy a business. And Almighty Suspect just happened to be one of them. But Brandon really tricked this guy out of his whole job. It's funny, and Almighty Suspect kind of admitted it afterwards when he did a live stream talking about it. I'm gonna play you guys that clip.
For everybody who wondering what's going on, I damn near got fired because of this little fat shit up here. This little fat shit up there. You feel me? That's why I got fired. But as a grown man, though, I do have to take responsibility for my own actions. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I am a grown man. Don't nobody control me but myself, and I'm responsible for all my own actions. I do want to say that. You know what I'm saying? And another thing I want to say is, bro, I think this dude came up here with a motive. You know what I'm saying? I think he came in here with a motive, bro. He Mr. Pan-African. Tariq Nasheed got a restraining order on this Bucci guy here. You know what I'm saying? So clearly, this is what he does. He's from the Dr. Umar space. You feel me? This Flacco man. So you know they was on the Dr. Umar type thing. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how he wasn't able to see this. I mean, he was able to see it afterwards, but this is when emotions run you. And that guy Brandon will try and say that, no, that's not what I was doing. That's exactly what he was doing. This is the thing. That guy knew there were two outcomes. Either Almighty Suspect does something crazy and gets fired, which he did, or he fights him and he beats up Almighty Suspect and he gets embarrassed and he's constantly the butt of the joke for the foreseeable future. So both outcomes are favorable for that guy Brandon, and he won in this situation. Cooler heads prevailed, and this really just goes to show you, like, a lot of the people that are really trained killers in terms of like hands and feet, they are not the quickest to take it to violence, especially if they know somebody's just talking. And that's not to say like Almighty Suspect's a punk or anything. He's just somebody that got outmatched intellectually, and in this case, physically too. And now he lost his job. It is what it is. And now the thing is, the people that were going to make fun of him, this is a lose-lose situation for him as well. Because the same people that were going to make fun of him for not showing up and doing the smart thing and saying, listen, I cannot be in a room with that guy. I know my emotions flare up. I will do something stupid. Those same people that would have called him like PUSSY and all that, those are the same people that are laughing at him for getting fired and calling him stupid. So it was a lose-lose situation for the guy. That really just booking them at the same time again was catastrophic and putting it out. But No Jumper clearly doesn't want to mess with that anymore. And now this Brandon guy's going to be around No Jumper more because there's like this new storyline and it's turned into just kind of reality TV. But I think the most profitable thing for Adam 22 to do is just, hey, build up these characters and then send them off to Aiden and get a cut. That's a new business model right there. It's like WWE. You're building up the storyline, and then the Royal Rumble is with Aiden Ross and Steak, and you've got Adam 22 commentating. Now tell me that's not fire. All these people, they're getting into fades and getting down all the time. He's got plenty of people doing that on the West Coast. Now you start building up some storylines, get them arguing back and forth. Okay, let's settle it. Fair fade. They both get paid. Adam 22 gets a cut. Aiden Ross gets storylines already built up for him, and then Adam 22 commentates. That's lit. I think that's a fire direction to take things. Because I feel like it's been so long that No Jumper has been recognized as, okay, this is a place of music/hip-hop discussions. I don't even know if it's like music/BS discussions. It's almost not just West Coast, but it's like, yo, if there's violence, blackmail, etc., like crazy stuff going on that is destructive for a business and people's personal lives, that's going to generate the most views. And when you're in a position where you've got to make sure the revenue figures get hit, you just lean further and further and further into that until you get situations like this with guest members. And this is also, how do you mess up this job? Like, I don't think I've ever seen a more lenient boss than Adam 22. You get people smoking on the job, they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to show up late multiple times. People show up drunk. This guy beat somebody up live on camera and was allowed to keep his job. It's like, damn, that just goes to show you when people are like, yo, you just gotta you can't be a strict boss. We got the most lenient boss here, and look, you got the prisoners running amok. But let me know what y'all think about this. Do you guys like my idea? Like, I'm an ideas guy. I've got unlimited ideas. It's just that I can't act on all of them. I gotta focus on what's working. But man, I think it's brilliant. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm see y'all on the next one.